Hey there and welcome to another video. My name is Hugh, and in this video I'm going to give you the 3 types of swap numbers that you need to know if you are a Forex hedger. If you don't know what hedging is or you've never been exposed to hedging, be sure to watch my video on hedging right there. But if you know what hedging is about, then one thing that a lot of hedging traders miss in the beginning is the swap. So they don't know how much swap or how much interest they're paying on their position to hold that position. So sometimes the long will have a positive swap, or you get paid interest every day. And a lot of times if the long is positive, then the short is going to be negative. So you need to know how much negative or how much money you're going to be paying in interest or in swap every day, because that's going to compound and that's going to add to the losses or the gains on your positions. So there are 3 types of swaps that you need to know about: the positive swaps, the negative swaps, and the net swaps. So if you want to do this for free, you can do this for free. It's totally easy to do. You can do this in MetaTrader. So what you do is you open your market watch window. If you don't have enough currency pairs, or you don't have the right currency pairs that you want to trade, then simply right click and add those currency pairs. I have a video on how to do that right here. So once you get your list set up, these are going to be all of the currency pairs or all of the markets that you're going to be watching. And in order to do this manually, just right click any currency pair, go to specification, and then scroll down towards the middle bottom-ish, and that will give you the swap long and the swap short. Now these are in percentages, and you're going to have to talk to your broker and see how much actual money you're going to be making or losing on positions. They usually have a calculator that can help you do this. But for now, we'll just look at these numbers relative to other numbers, and that will give you an idea of which currency pairs you should be hedging with, which ones you should avoid, and which ones you might only want to take one side on. Okay, so I'm looking at the CAD Swiss. So you want to look first for positive swap currency pairs, because those positions will pay you interest every day and triple on Wednesday. So if you can get into those positions on that side, or get into that market on that side, you have a little better chance because you're accumulating positive interest instead of paying negative interest every day. So in this case, for the CAD Swiss, the long is positive at 2.92 and the short is negative at negative 8.616. So if you're going to hedge 1 for 1, let's say that you had 1 standard lot long, 1 standard lot short, the net of that will be negative, because if you subtract, or if you add these 2 numbers together, you're going to get about negative 5-ish or so, right? So that's the second number you need to know, the net swap. So you add the 2 swaps together. Now, if they're both negative, then you're going to have a really big negative number, so that maybe that's a market that you want to avoid with hedging. And obviously the final number that you want to look at is the negative swap by itself. So on which side do you have to pay interest, and which currency pairs or which markets have big negative interest is the primary concern here, right? So with the CAD Swiss, this isn't too bad. I mean, it's going to net out to about negative 5. I wouldn't target the long here because that's not a very high payout every day. So that's how you would do that. And then you could write all of these down or put it in a spreadsheet, and you would have to go through these individually like this and take a look at them. And you could set this up before you start trading on Monday or Sunday or whatever it is, and then you would have an idea of what markets to target and what markets not to target. Now, is there an easier way to do this? Yes. So I have personally created a hedging swap not indicator, but an EA for MetaTrader 4. This is available in my store if you want to take a look. A link is in the description below. But it makes it super easy to take a look at all the negative swaps, all the positive swaps, etc. So in this example, I have all of the negative swaps. So these are all of the negative, or the sides in the markets that have negative swap. And this is going to be most of the sides and markets on your list. And that's just how it works, because that's one way the brokers make money, right? So you take a look at this, and what you're looking for here is something that's really, really negative. So for example, pound yen short is minus 21. All of the cryptocurrency pairs are like in the minus 30s, 20s, and 30s. So those are definitely markets to avoid. And I get this comment a fair amount. People say, oh yeah, you can hedge in the cryptocurrency market. Yeah, you can hedge, but are you going to be profitable hedging when you have to pay this huge negative swap every day? Probably not, right? Unless you're getting out in and out quickly, like on a day trade or scalping, in which case you're not actually hedging, right? So this is something very important to watch when you're hedging. Not a lot of people talk about this in hedging, so I want to bring this up now. So that's a negative swap. So I also have an EA that does positive swap. So this is a really important one also. It'll list all of the markets in your watch list or your market watch window that have positive interest. So in this case, you want to target, or if this is your strategy and this resonates with you, you can target the markets that have high positive interest on that side and just look for trades there. So you could use a trading strategy, you could use simple support and resistance like I do, but this is a good way to see this at a glance. So if we look at these right now, the yen pairs are going to have the biggest difference between the two currencies, right? So that's going to be the highest positive interest. So we've got pound yen at 10 plus, we've got USD Japanese yen at 11 plus, and we've got, what else? I think there was one more that had some pretty good interest. CAD yen 8 point something. That's not bad, but if anything, I'd be targeting yen and the pound yen, or US yen and the pound yen. Those are the two highest positive swap sides and markets, and these are both long, so I'm going to be looking for long trades in those markets. So let's hop over to USD Japanese yen. As you can see, I already have a few trades set up here. I have a few buys there, I have a buy here, and I probably should have taken more buys down here, but as you can see, the market is very bullish because of this positive interest. So this can be another clue that the market is going to move up if the interest is positive on the long side. So if you could have gotten in anywhere on these pullbacks, especially this one, this would have been the nice one right there. And then just hold that position as long as possible. You could even just set you could take the trade. If it's profitable, you set the stop losses to break even or plus 3 or 5 pips or whatever, and just let it rip. And if it ranges around up here, then that can be a good way and a very easy way to collect some interest, and there's no risk because your stop loss is at break even or a small positive. All right, another important thing to look at is the net swap. So we're going to take a look at the net swap right now. That's the net swap, and that is when you add the two, the long and the short swaps together. So as you can see, I have the list here, and as you can see with the cryptocurrency pairs like the Bitcoin US dollar, that's a -50, and that's huge. So again, you don't want to be hedging, at least with these with these forex brokers, you don't want to be hedging in the cryptocurrency markets. There may be other platforms that have better swaps, but I haven't seen anything compelling yet. So this EA can really save you a lot of money when you're doing this. So now that you can see the net swaps, you want to avoid hedging in any market that has a really high net negative swap, right? So obviously, like I said, the cryptocurrency markets, even pound yen, it's going to be -10. So that's probably something I would stay away from, because even though the long interest is high at 10 point something, the negative, that means the negative is like -20, right? So I want to stay away from hedging in that market. I just want to be looking for longs in that market. However, I look at the other markets and they're all around 7. There's even smaller ones, 5, 4. So those are the markets I want to be hedging in, because I'm not going to be eating a lot of interest to hold a hedged position, and that's going to keep my costs of transactions low. So I also have another EA that I call the filtered swap. So this allows me to set a maximum negative swap on the currency pair. So I think in this case I have it set at -8. So the EA is going to show me all the markets that have a negative swap that's greater or better than -8. So these are the markets that I am going to be trading or hedging in, and this allows me to at a glance see what I want to trade, look through only these charts, and then see if there are any good chart patterns that I can trade. So that's everything I have on hedging and swaps. If you want to get these EAs, again, they are available in the description of this video. Otherwise, you can do it for free by simply right-clicking and doing the specification and then writing that down in a spreadsheet. And you can have the spreadsheet automatically calculate the swaps together, and you can highlight certain swaps, and you can highlight certain negative swaps, maybe make those red as the ones that you don't want to trade. And that's the free way to do it. All right, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell if you haven't already and you want to get more content like this. Thanks for watching.